BOI, or Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting, is now mandatory for most businesses. Failure to comply can subject you to a $10,000 fine and up to 2 years in prison. Additionally, a person who willfully violates the BOI reporting requirement could be subject to civil penalties of up to $591 for each day that the violation continues. I don't like this new reporting requirement either, but it's here and is effective now. In this video, I'm going to cover common questions related to BOI reporting that you need to know. If you want to know how to file a BOI report, you can check out my other video over here where I shared my screen while I filed a BOI report in about 5 minutes. Now, you may have heard about the National Small Business United lawsuit where a U.S. District Court ruled that the BOI reporting was unconstitutional. The court stated it exceeded Congress's powers. Unfortunately, the ruling only applies to the members of the National Small Business United group. For everyone else, beneficial ownership information reporting is still required. If you have a business, you won't want to miss this. And be sure to share it with anyone else who has a business. This information is relevant even if you've already filed your BOI report. Hi, I'm Noel Lorenzana. I'm an accountant. I'm not a lawyer, and this isn't legal advice. I'm just some guy on the internet trying to help you out. Let's dive in. So I've prepared a really nice slideshow for you with these frequently asked questions. It's 41 pages long, and I've compiled the most important questions. Okay, so just so you know, this report has been prepared by FinCEN in response to inquiries received related to the Beneficial Ownership Information Reporting Rule and Beneficial Ownership Information Access and Safeguards Rule. You can learn more about the BOI reporting requirement at fincen.gov/BOI. And if you want to read the entire FAQ, here's the link down below, www.fincen.gov/BOI-FAQs. So the first question we have is, what is beneficial owner information reporting? Okay, so the new Corporate Transparency Act requires small businesses with less than 20 employees to report what's called their beneficial owner information to FinCEN, the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, or face a $500 per day penalty. In criminal cases, the fines can reach $10,000, and individuals may face up to 2 years of imprisonment. This started on January 1st, 2024. So I don't like this as much as the next person, but it's here, and until it's not here, you'd be recommended to comply with this BOI reporting. And do note the $500 per day penalty has been inflation adjusted to $591 per day. Next question. What companies will be required to report beneficial ownership information to FinCEN? Reporting companies are corporations, limited liability companies, also known as LLCs, and any other entities created by the filing of a document with a Secretary of State or any similar office in the United States. Also, foreign companies who have registered to do business in the United States. So basically, if you've had to register your corporation or LLC with the Secretary of State for your state, you likely have a BOI reporting requirement. Another common question that comes up is a sole proprietorship a reporting company for BOI reporting purposes? The answer is no, unless a sole proprietorship was created in the United States by filing a document with a Secretary of State or similar office. Filing a document with a government agency to obtain an IRS employer identification number, that's an EIN or FEIN number, a fictitious business name, or a professional or occupational license does not make a sole proprietorship a reporting company. So generally speaking, sole proprietorships do not need to report their BOI information. Next question. Who is a beneficial owner of a reporting company? A beneficial owner is an individual who either directly or indirectly exercises substantial control over a reporting company or owns or controls at least 25% of a reporting company's ownership interest. Beneficial owners must be individuals, i.e. natural persons. Trusts, corporations, or other legal entities are not considered to be beneficial owners. What are some common mistakes people make when completing their BOI filings? A common mistake is not providing complete information about all beneficial owners. Another is failing to keep the information up to date. I'll touch on that in a bit. Incorrect or inconsistent data, such as misspelled names or incorrect addresses, is also a frequent error. Finally, missing deadlines is a significant issue as it can lead to penalties. I'll talk about those deadlines a little later on. When do I need to update my BOI information? You should update your BOI information whenever there is a significant change in ownership or control of your business. This includes changes like a new owner, a change in the ownership percentage, or a change in the control structure. Typically, you must report these changes within a specified period, often 30 days. So basically, anytime there's a change in who owns or runs your business, like a new owner or changes in ownership percentages, you need to update your BOI information. Next question, what should I do if previously reported information changes? If there's any change to the required information about your company or its beneficial owners in a BOI report that your company filed, your company must file an updated report no later than 30 days after the date of the change. What are some likely triggers for needing to update a beneficial ownership information report? So we have any change to the information reported for the reporting company, a change in beneficial owners such as a new CEO or a sale that changes who meets the ownership interest threshold of 25%, any change to a beneficial owner's name, address, or unique identifying number previously provided to FinCEN. On this last one, a new photo identification needs to be uploaded as well. Next question, if a reporting company needs to update one piece of information, does the reporting company have to fill out an entire new BOI report? Updated BOI reports will require all fields to be submitted, including the updated pieces of information. So basically, yes, you have to submit an entirely new BOI report. For example, if a reporting company changes its legal name, the reporting company will need to file an updated BOI report to include the new legal name and the previously reported unchanged information about the company, its beneficial owners, and if required, its company applicants. So it's a good idea to save a copy of your original BOI report, so in the event that you do need to make changes, you already have the existing information and you just enter the new information along with the existing information for what hasn't changed. Okay, next question. Who is a company applicant of a reporting company? So this is a good one because only reporting companies created or registered on or after January 1st, 2024 will need to report their company applicants. So if your company was created or registered before that, then you don't need to report your company applicant. A company that must report its company applicants will have only up to 2 individuals who could qualify as company applicants. The individual who directly files the document that creates or registers the company, and if it's more than one person involved, the individual who is primarily responsible for directing or controlling the filing. What information will a reporting company have to report about its beneficial owners? For each individual who is a beneficial owner, a reporting company will have to provide the individual's name, date of birth, residential address, and an identifying number from a passport or U.S. driver's license. An image of the identification document will need to be uploaded as well. Is there a requirement to annually report beneficial ownership information? No, there is no annual reporting requirement. Reporting companies must file an initial BOI report and updated or corrected BOI reports as needed. Can a reporting company report a P.O. box as its current address? No. The reporting company address must be a U.S. street address and cannot be a P.O. box. When do I have to file an initial beneficial ownership information report with FinCEN? Okay, this is a good one, so pay attention. If your company existed before January 1st, 2024, so that's 2023 and earlier, it must file its initial report by January 1st, 2025. If your company was created in 2024, then it must file its initial report within 90 days after creation or registration is effective. If your company was created or registered on or after January 1st, 2025, it must file its initial beneficial ownership information report within 30 calendar days after its creation or registration is effective. So 2023 and earlier, you have until January 1st, 2025. If you registered your business this year in 2024, you have 90 days from the date of creation. And if you register your business in 2025 or later, you have 30 days after its creation or registration is effective. Can a filer submit a late updated BOI report? An updated BOI report can be submitted to FinCEN at any time. However, the reporting company is responsible for ensuring that updates are filed within 30 days of a change occurring. If a reporting company has engaged a third-party service provider to file BOI reports and updates on its behalf, then it should communicate any changes to its beneficial ownership information to the third-party service provider with enough time to meet the 30-day deadline. What should I do if I learn of an inaccuracy in a report? If a beneficial ownership information report is inaccurate, your company must report it no later than 30 days after the date your company became aware of the inaccuracy or had reason to know of it. This includes any inaccuracy in the required information provided about the company, its beneficial owners, or its company applicants. So correcting it means submitting a new corrected BOI report. Next question. What happens if a reporting company does not report BOI to FinCEN or fails to update or correct the information within the required time frame? So if you're thinking about not reporting your BOI information or just ignoring this new requirement, I would caution against it. FinCEN is working hard to ensure that reporting companies are aware of their obligations to report, update, and correct beneficial ownership information. FinCEN understands this is a new requirement. If you correct a mistake or omission within 90 days of the deadline for the original report, you may avoid being penalized. However, you could face civil and criminal penalties if you disregard your beneficial ownership information reporting obligations. What penalties do individuals face for violating BOI reporting requirements? A person who willfully violates the BOI reporting requirements may be subject to civil penalties of up to $500 for each day that the violation continues. However, this civil penalty amount is adjusted annually for inflation. As of the time of the publication of this FAQ, this amount is $591. A person who willfully violates the BOI reporting requirement may also be subject to criminal penalties for up to 2 years imprisonment and a fine of up to $10,000. I think these fines are quite excessive, but they want full compliance, so I guess that's what they're doing. Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. Next question. Who can be held liable for violating BOI reporting requirements? Both individuals and corporate entities can be held liable for willful violations. This can include not only an individual who actually files false information with FinCEN, but also anyone who willfully provides the filer with false information to report. Both individuals and corporate entities may also be liable for willfully failing to report complete or updated beneficial ownership information. In such circumstances, individuals can be held liable or a senior officer at the company. Who can access privately submitted BOI information? FinCEN is authorized to disclose BOI information to federal agencies engaged in national security, intelligence, or law enforcement activities, as well as federal regulatory agencies that supervise financial institutions for compliance with customer due diligence requirements. Most people won't like the idea of this, but keep in mind, BOI reporting aims to reveal who really owns and controls businesses to prevent crimes like money laundering and tax evasion. Which state agencies can request BOI information from FinCEN? So you have state, local, and tribal law enforcement agencies who are authorized by law to engage in the investigation or enforcement of civil or criminal violations of law. They will be able to request BOI information from FinCEN under certain circumstances. Can foreign governments access beneficial ownership information? Foreign governments cannot directly access the beneficial ownership IT system. That's the secure system that FinCEN uses to receive and store BOI. But they'll be able to request beneficial ownership information through intermediary federal agencies. Foreign governments may request BOI information from a law enforcement investigation or prosecution, or for national security or intelligence activity that is authorized under the laws of the foreign country. So yes, foreign governments could have access to BOI information. Let me know if you have any questions. I tried to select the most common questions people might have. But if you have a general question, leave it in the comments and I'll try to answer it. If your question or situation is complex, then you really should reach out to a company to help you file these BOI reports. I'm a partner with CorpNet.com, and they offer BOI reporting for just a few $100s. Tell them I sent you, though. If you got value from the video, please do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing to stay updated on this and any other important changes that affect your small business. If you want to follow along while I file a BOI report, you can check out that video over here. Thanks for watching and see you in another video.